everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome back to another live training with me, Stacy, the owner and founder of Radiantly Dressed. In this week's training, I want to talk about something that maybe goes against the grain a little bit, but it's something that's come up for me in several different conversations over the past week, over the past couple weeks, actually. And so I just want to really talk about this because it is one of those things that it's an experience that happens to everybody. And that is when you're starting to when you feel completely overwhelmed, right? You're on this journey, you're trying to figure out your personal style, which is like this big task, right? And so you're on this journey and you're trying to figure it out. And you get overwhelmed, and so you quit. You just stop doing all the things and you disappear and you stop trying because it's overwhelming and you feel like you're getting nowhere. And the reality is that it happens to a lot of people in different ways. So for me, really interestingly, you may have heard me talk before about the first time I came across capsule wardrobes, which was back in 2015. I was pregnant with my second child, and it was really easy for me. And I just, because I didn't have a lot of clothes that I had to manage. And so it was easy. It was easy capsule wardrobe. But my attempts after that were really difficult and hard. And there was a period of a couple years where I just gave up. I didn't do anything. I didn't focus on style or fashion in any form, in any kind of way. I went down the LuLaRoe rabbit hole and ended up wearing leggings and tunics for a while, and that was pretty terrible. And then I just kind of fell in love with a nursing brand called Latch Mama, and so I wore jeans and their nursing tops for a while. And it was sort of in this period where I began to really feel a pull again to get back on the journey. Which of course led to me starting this business and developing all these amazing tools and things that now make so much sense. But I want you to know that it's normal. I have even heard from some of my students, prior alumni and graduates of the intensive course, that after doing the intensive, which there's a reason it's called the intensive, right? It's been this last year, it was 3 months to 12 weeks basically of content. And when I say full of content, I mean really full. We're talking over 60 lessons spread out over 12 weeks. That's on average, 5 lessons a week. Lots of homework and tactical assignments. I asked a couple of times, like, how many hours do you think you're spending on this a week? And I've gotten several answers, like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours was really common for people to be spending on this journey, which was, of course, was a really deep dive, like a fast, intense deep dive. But some of them, after several of them actually, after finishing the course, said, I just needed a break. Like, I need to take a break. It was so intense. Like, I have to stop focusing on this so heavily for a while. And I want you to know that I understand, because obviously I have taken breaks on this journey. At this point, there's no breaking anymore. I eat, sleep, live, breathe this stuff now because it's my business. But I've seen it too come up in the group where sometimes people will be, especially in the like free group, right? So people will be posting like their outfit photos, and they'll be really into the process, and really gaining some traction, and then they just disappear. Like they just kind of ghost the system. Um, and I totally understand what happens, because sometimes you come into this process of thinking, well, I feel frumpy in my clothes. I just want to look better. I just need some style tips. I just need a little bit of help, right? And you think that it's going to be kind of here and surfacey and it's just going to fix your problems. But I'm not a here and surfacey kind of person. And that's not what I offer people. I offer a full transformation process, which requires you to learn a lot, and it requires you to dig really deep within yourself. And that can be super overwhelming because it's a process of transformation, right? It's not a quick fix or a one and done solution. It's truly an internal change so that you can have a long lasting outward change. Because I can't sell you a band-aid. Like, it's not who I am as a person. It's not who I am as a business owner. And it's not what I believe in. And it's not what God called me to do here. What I believe in and what I've created is so much bigger than just a quick transformation. And so a break can be necessary, and it can be beneficial because it allows you to take that time to kind of rest and reset. But when you're taking these breaks, right? And also, interestingly enough, when you think about it, rest is such a biblical perspective, right? Because God created for 6 days and then he rested on the seventh. And so rest is a part of who we are as women on our faith journey. And it's important for us to take those moments of rest, to take that step back. Last week, I talked about reflection, which can be part of your rest process. But what I do want to encourage you to do today is not to let your rest and your break and your feeling stuckness be permanent, right? I don't want you to just quit. I want you to say, okay, I'm taking a break. I need to take a break. And when I'm ready, I'm going to get back in here. And you have to also consider that this journey is a marathon. It is not a sprint. I once believed, when it comes to capsule wardrobes, I once believed that I would create this one capsule wardrobe this one time, and then I would be done. It would be it. And it's funny because I'm sort of on this long going, really difficult decluttering journey because I have 6 kids, almost 7, and we have collected so much stuff over the years that it's insane. And it's driving me nuts. And I'm so overwhelmed with it. And in my head, I used to think that decluttering, I'm just going to declutter everything once and it's going to be fine. But the reality is things keep coming in, right? So I have to keep doing this over and over and over and over again. Style is the same way because we're changing and time is going by and things are shifting for us. And so it's not something we can just fix this one time and expect to move forward. And so the first thing I want to talk about here is why we feel so overwhelmed, right? Like, what is it about transformation that makes us feel so incredibly overwhelmed when it comes to this process? So, number one, and I kind of mentioned this when it came to the intensive, but number one thing is information overload. And I know that I am very guilty of being a give you everything kind of person when it comes to information. And sometimes that's probably not needed. I'm just a very analytical person. I'm very research based. I like to get as much information as possible. And then I try to present it to you. In a way that is as simple as I can make it. But again, as a complex person, perhaps sometimes I'm not simplifying it enough. But when you have too much information, it can be so overwhelming, right? It can be so paralyzing. You look at this journey and you see, especially if you're in the free Facebook group and you see people posting, like you may see so many things that don't make sense to you. And people are in different places on their journey. And so it can feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do next. There's so much here to think about. There's colors and style and capsule wardrobes and minimalism and style words and style goals and all these different things. Like I don't know what to do, what to start. The second reason that people often get overwhelmed when they're making these kinds of changes is because deep down we fear failing, right? um, so if we stop, we're not failing. We're choosing to stop. It's not a failure if I choose to stop. It's just me quitting, like quitting, right? Um, but the thought of like failing and maybe not figuring it out um, really makes people nervous and anxious and feel that overwhelm. And this can be, this is that head stuff that we talk about, right? That you have to overcome. And at this point, I would just like to encourage you here that there really is no failure when it comes to your personal style, because every day you're getting up and you're getting dressed most of the time anyway, unless you're staying in pajamas, but you have clothes on your body, right? Like there's no failing because you have to have clothes on your body to be socially acceptable. You don't have a choice. And so failure really isn't an option here, because all you can do is just gain momentum forward. Um, Often people will come into this process and have really high expectations and think that they are going to go from being uneducated and not knowing anything about their personal style to Kate Middleton in a month. And I'm here to tell you that is not going to happen for so many reasons. Because number one, you may not ever be a Kate Middleton because, it's everybody has their own style, right? And trying to fit yourself into that box can be really hard. And so just managing the expectations that this, like I said earlier, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's something that you have to go through and journey through and dig deep within yourself to take the time to really process and experience and learn as you go. Whatever learning speed that you have, that's the speed that you're at, right? Um, the other thing, often people feel overwhelmed, is that there is a lack of structure. However, I want you guys to know that this should not be something, if you're in my group and you're paying attention to all the stuff we put in there, you should not feel lost. There are several different ways to go about having a map here. I'm going to actually go find this right quick because I want to show you guys this. There is so much information to be had here. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and show you a few things. If you're, if you need a roadmap, we've got roadmaps and spreadsheets and all kinds of stuff. Okay, so the first thing here is if you're in the free Facebook group, the Radiantly Dressed group, if you go here to guides, right here at the top, it's the very first thing, is this content catalog right here, okay? If you are looking for information, all you have to do is go pull this up. It is a Google, I thought it was a spreadsheet. Why does it say doc? Okay, it's a Google spreadsheet, and it has every podcast episode, every blog post that I have ever done. It is all here. The links are here for you. All you have to do is is go find what you're looking for. There's a search function over here with directions, and I'm going to look at the directions because I don't know how to use them. So right here, you can search. Command F will allow you to search, sort, and filter by column A to find a specific topic. Here are all the topics that you can find. So if you're looking for some stuff on personal style, for example, you can hit Command F. I think it's Control F if you're on a Mac, or maybe it's still Command F because it's, I don't know, because it's Google. Who knows? Anyways, but so I'm looking for personal style here, right? I've done this in a long time. Oh, personal style. Search this sheet, right? And so it should, well, it's being silly and it's not helping me do what I'm supposed to do here right now. Of course it's not. Personal style, it'll tell you there are 17 things, and it's gonna highlight them for you, I guess, here. Yeah, here they are. They're highlighted. They're all here. So you can use this to comb through all the free content that I've created. Anything you're looking for, you can type it in, search by terms. This is just one way that you can get help. We have the actual roadmap, right? Which walks you through the steps of your style journey. And from the mindset piece here that weaves through all of it basically to dealing with color, personal style, wardrobe, and some of the stuff that comes after you've kind of nailed your wardrobe in, this ongoing management of your wardrobe. It's all here. There's trainings. If you hold these, there's documents. There are different videos. Some of them have podcast episodes linked to them or blog posts. All of this is here condensed really well for you. If you don't want to have to comb through this big spreadsheet, this has the information pulled out that's in a cohesive order. It gives you that roadmap. So in this case, overwhelm should not be an issue. Well, not knowing where to start shouldn't be an issue because I've laid it out for you really carefully and really specifically so that you at all times can figure out where you are and where you're headed next. The next thing I would like to talk about, I have notes here somewhere. Oh, okay. Another reason that people feel overwhelmed when they're making these big transformations is because of social pressure, right? Which I'm going to talk more about this after some other conversations in another live video. But, we worry what others think about us. And sometimes when we're on this journey, the feedback that we get is not always positive because people come at you with their own expectations and thoughts and aesthetics and ideas, and that is not always a positive experience. And so people can get frustrated by that and feel overwhelmed and just decide to quit because they're not getting positive feedback, they're just getting random feedback. But stay in the group. Like, the group is full of positive feedback. We have rules in place actually in the group that keep negative feedback at bay because we know that it can be overwhelming. And sometimes people want feedback. And that's one of the things, if you want feedback in this group, you have to ask for it on your post. Because we have a rule that says if the person doesn't ask for feedback, no feedback is allowed. Because sometimes people just want to post and feel loved on and need a virtual hug and feel good about themselves. And they don't need to be torn down by feedback, whether it's critical or not. And so know that when you post in the group, you are protected by our rules that keep that to a limit. Now that I've talked about some of these overwhelm, like why we feel overwhelmed and how it affects us, and like that it's okay to take a break and okay to stop, don't stop. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to take a rest. It's okay to take a Sabbath from style if you need to. I fully understand that sometimes it just is too much. In this context, I tend to work about 6 days a week because I'm finding pockets of time here and there after homeschooling and in between cooking dinner. Like I'm working in the middle all the time. And there have been seasons where I've worked 7 days a week and I felt overwhelmed with the content and just the thought of thinking about it all the time. And I've recently re-implemented a Sabbath Saturday. So if you notice, I don't really comment on Saturdays or do anything on Saturdays. I'm not really available to even do anything from a social media perspective. It's because I turn off my style brain. I turn off my work brain. I'm not thinking about this. I'm taking a break. And it's okay to take those breaks. However, I want you to get back on track. So on that note, I have 5 different areas, 5 different action steps to help you get back on track. And for each of them, I have a couple questions that you can ask yourself if this is going to help you to kind of think about getting back on the horse, getting back into your style journey, figuring out what you need to do next, right? So the first thing you can do if you're stuck, if you're taking a rest and you're ready to get back on track, is to evaluate your progress, right? So you need to take a step back. Like we talked about those reflection steps last week. That's a little bit different reflection, but this is still another form of reflection, right? Take a step back and look at what you've accomplished so far, right? Because I can guarantee you that if you've been working at this at all, you have small wins. You've learned amazing things, and you need to stop and you think about how far you've come, even if it's only 2 steps, right? 2 steps is better than no steps. Okay. So 2 questions that I would like for you to ask yourself. What is one accomplishment in my style journey that I am proud of? Right. So maybe the accomplishment is just not wearing pajamas every day, right? It doesn't have to be huge, but I want you to note one accomplishment that you're really proud of. Number 2, have you noticed any changes in how you feel or how you present yourself since starting this journey, right? Do you feel more confident when you go out in public? Do you feel more authentic in the clothes that you're wearing? Do you feel like you are able to be more present with the things that are important in your life, right? What are these changes that you've noticed, these positive changes since you started the journey? Because I guarantee you that they're there. The second action step that you can take to get back on track is to identify where you are in the process. So again, knowing where you are, and I've seen this come up a couple times. People will come into the group and they're new, or they come into the membership and they're kind of new and they're like, I just don't know what to do next, right? I don't know what to do next. Again, I'm going to tell you guys, I have very, very specifically laid this out for you in the roadmap. I'm going to share it one more time. It's here in this roadmap, right? Have you figured out your colors? Have you nailed down all of the stuff with color? Okay, because this is the first place to start. If you've done this, if you're super confident on your colors, if you have a great color palette, then you should be moving into exploring your style, right? That's the next step. And then, of course, like you have to manage your wardrobe in between. And so you can kind of delve into these areas. But really, if you have nailed your color, but you still don't understand your personal style, this is where you should be focusing, right? This is what should be taking your attention. And so taking the time. So ask yourself these questions. What was the last meaningful action that I took on this journey, right? What is the last thing I learned and I put into practice, right? Number 2 question, am I stuck at a particular step? All right. And if you are stuck, why are you stuck? Is it because you don't understand the information? Is it because you need some help with the information? Is it because there's something going on inside your head that is keeping you stuck? I see this happen so much when it comes to the style portion of the journey, right? When it comes to body types or essences or figuring out which clothes fit those 2 different areas, I see people get stuck here a lot because we have so much internal dialogue about who we are from our past and from society and cultural expectations that it's really easy to just get stuck and stop right here and not be able to move forward. So ask yourself, if you're stuck, where are you stuck and why are you stuck there? The number 3 action step you can take to get back on track is to revisit your original goals. Why did you start doing this? Like, what was it? What was the impetus that put you on this path? Like, why did you suddenly decide, hey, I'm going to get interested in color analysis, or hey, I really want a capsule wardrobe, but why? Like, why are you doing this? What do you hope to accomplish? So, 2 questions. What motivated you to embark on this journey initially? And then number 2, since you started this journey, have your goals changed? Do they need revising? Did you start this journey thinking that you were just going to learn about color analysis, and then, hey, you realized, you know what, this all these colors feels overwhelming, and I just want to simplify. Maybe you started this journey thinking, I really want a minimalist wardrobe, but you realized it's not you, and you need something a little bit different, right? Like, think about why you started, and if you need to revise the direction of your path. Number four thing you can do when you're on this journey, and for those of you that are in the free Facebook group, I know you're here doing this, is seeking support, right? So if you're in the Facebook group, you've got a supportive community. Even if you're quiet and you're lurking and you're not posting, just know that I, as the owner and my admins, take it very seriously, creating a supportive, loving community of faith-filled women. We are all really diligent in maintaining this atmosphere and this community in that way, and creating rules and boundaries to make sure that this is a safe place for Christian women to explore their style without being judged or being put down or being insulted for anything that they think or say or post, right? Like, we are here to support you, not to tear you down. And so, two questions you can ask here, right? How can I regularly check in with my support network to keep myself accountable? Maybe you're at the place in your journey where it's time to start posting some outfit pictures. Maybe that's the accountability that you need if you've been quiet and watching. But also, the question is, if you're doing those things, if you're looking at support and you're getting some accountability in the group, and you're still overwhelmed and needing a break, do you need more help? Do you need more support? Is it time for you to take that next step and get more help? And I'm going to show you again. I was going to show it. I lost it. Okay. Yep. Which I'm going to go ahead and just talk about the membership for just a minute, because it's a really low investment option for you guys. It's $7 a month, right? $7 a month, I'm going to be honest with you, is literally one chai latte when I go to Starbucks, because I get oat milk because I got problems, et cetera, right? So this is really inexpensive. Even if you shop at the thrift store, this is cheaper than a trip to the thrift store. And you get so much stuff inside of here, guys. There are so many lessons, from your self-image to kind of mindset stuff about gratitude, looking at your identity, even looking at your purpose. And this was actually something we talked about on the call last week. Somebody asked me, why is this in here and how does this relate to our wardrobe? And I spent like 20 minutes talking about how our purpose relates to our image and how we show up in the world. You have different extra affirmations, a whole workbook on wardrobe harmony, talking about self-care, taking care of yourself so that your body feels good. There's more stuff too. There's like capsule wardrobe planner, which is huge. But also, one of the things that you get in here is that you get the opportunity to ask me questions, and not in a, I'm posting in a Facebook group and maybe she'll answer in 2 seconds. I'm talking like really deep questions. The questions that they asked me last week, and I answer these once a month. I come live just like this. You can post comments and questions, and I literally just sit there and talk about this question for as long as needs be, like this one about purpose, right? And so, if you need help, like, this is a ridiculously inexpensive way to get some help, nearly one-on-one help, to be honest with you, because I'm going to answer your question as fully as possible. You can always comment and ask more questions. Like, I am there to help you move forward. And so, if you do feel like it's time to get some support, I would encourage you to definitely check out the Radiant by Design membership, because there's so much there. Like, it's insane how much is there. I tried to make it small and I could not do it. And so it's just this huge amount of content, huge amount of information, huge amount of just help and support there. The final thing I want to say is that if you're feeling stuck and overwhelmed on your style journey, and you're on the verge of quitting, or you have quit, and you're ready to just get back in there and try again, is to go to the source of all wisdom, right? Spend some time in prayer and reflection. This journey, obviously, if from a secular perspective, you could take a style journey and leave God out of it. But as Christian women here, we're not supposed to leave God out of anything that we do in our lives. He's supposed to be the author of everything that we do, and how we look is no different, right? So are you seeking his guidance? Are you asking for emotional strength? Are you asking for clarity? Are you asking him how he wants you to show up? And so, two questions you can ask yourself really is, what specific guidance or strength am I seeking from God at this moment? Right? Is where you're at in your overall life in alignment with what God's, where you need to be, how you're showing up, how you're presenting your image, right? Are you in that place? But also, too, are you praying? Are you asking Him what He wants for you? Are you asking Him what changes He wants you to make, and how you show up, and how you look, and how you present yourself to the world? And it's funny because I often think about I don't know about you guys. This is a little tangent, but I don't know about you guys, but that show, The Chosen. I won't get into any criticisms I have of it. I'm just going to talk about how it's generally a decent show about the life of Christ. It's given me so many different thought trails when it comes to um, just what it was like for Jesus to live in that time period, right? And one of the things that I think about, it's so interesting, and obviously it's a show and there's costuming, but you look at the way people were dressed back then, and it obviously, the way we approach style and fashion now is such a modern thing. It's only been around for about 100 years. Once upon a time, people had a handful of clothing items and they didn't think about these things, right? They just didn't obsess and think about these things. Um, and so it's interesting, like, there are some Bible verses on how we should present ourselves as women, especially. There are some verses that speak directly to how we should appear and how we shouldn't be vain, and what to put on and what not to put on in different kind of contexts. But, um, we live in a modern society that does, unfortunately, um, create a little bit more confusion in our heads about these types of things. And so I just want to encourage you, if you're ready, if you're stuck and you're ready to quit or you have quit, um, before you do anything else really on the list, just pray about it. Pray about, ask God what He, how would I phrase this? Let me think. Ask God how He wants you to communicate yourself to the world. Um, yeah, pray that question, ask that question. Journal, when you feel inspired by Bible verses, journal down the answers that you get. Do some word studies on these verses that talk about how He wants us to show up. I love word studies. I feel like I should do a lesson on word studies. But yeah, I just know, I'm going to wrap it up. Just know that it's normal and it's okay to get stuck and to feel overwhelmed and to want to quit or to quit. But don't stay stuck. Don't stay out of the game here. Get back in here. Okay. Get back in, jump back in, and move forward, right? Move forward because the idea at the end is that your style and what you wear and how you look is no longer really a decision or a thought. That it's also naturally a part of who you are, that it's really as simple as walking into your closet and saying, you know what? I'm going to wear that rainbow scarf today. That's what I'm going to put on. And that's really the hardest decision that you make. That it should just be, and you don't worry about how you look and you don't worry about how you're coming across because you feel so aligned with who you are on the inside and who God has created you to be and the person that He is making you into, right? That none of these things, that it's no longer a struggle, right? It no longer should be a struggle. It should just be a natural reflection of who you are. So I pray that you have a wonderful Monday. That's all I have for you. I don't have any comments or questions here. So I hope you enjoyed this. It got longer than I thought, but I hope that you enjoyed this conversation about, yes, sometimes we get overwhelmed and sometimes we get stuck and sometimes we quit. But don't stay in the quit. Don't stay in the stuck. Get back on that style horse. I feel like I should find another analogy for this. Get back up on that style horse and let's get back to it. Have a great day.